Hey, and welcome to the Spineless Antics. On this episode, we are looking at the J160 Gearbox 6-speed manual transmission from Toyota. We are using it with the 3UZ, so we are doing a V8 conversion, Lexibreak bell housing and conversion plate, and JSP shifter relocation. If you like this stuff, hit subscribe, follow us, see what we're up to, follow this Volvo project, and like it. If you want to skip through to certain bits of this gearbox stuff we're going to be doing in this episode, in the description below there's some shortcut time links to get to bits and bobs, whether it be bell housing, shifter linkage, or just generally how to take things apart. Hope you like it. Enjoy. Tonight we are in the home garage doing a bit of an evening session. So what we've got is this little J160 gearbox. Put it on my trailer. So this is a IS200 6-speed manual gearbox, which I bought from a vehicle dismantlers, Trent's. And that needs to be converted to work with the 3UZ. Now luckily, there's a company called Lexibreak, and they do a conversion kit. And what this basically comprises of is a new bell housing. Modified nuts and bolts. There's a little pilot bearing now that I think goes into the back of the crank, so your gearbox sprocket can centre pokey majiggy sits on it, and a new throwout bearing, which is designed for the 1 and 3UZs. So basically I've got to swap these bell housings over. Now I've been told this is a bit of a fiddly crap job. Let's have a look at the other one. Let's compare the bell housing. Sorry. Now, I've managed to do some serious rib damage recently, so excuse me. Oh, struggling with stuff like this. It looks like this Lexibreak kit. What they've done is machine down this front lip, this section off the bell housing, and then clearance up here. You can see they've machined out this section here because that's where the starter motor engages onto the flywheel or a flex plate on 3UZ, and that's basically how they've done it. And I think by machining some material off the actual bell housing, it looks like they've machined off nearly the width of that adapter, so actually would sit in the same place, I suppose. Doesn't matter for us because we're doing a custom application. So let's get into it. So to get this thing apart, I've got to blow these bolts apart in there, undo those rings, take the fork apart. There's a bolt around the back of here I need to take off somewhere. I think it might be that one. And then obviously undo all these bolts off the back. Let's get on it. So I've got those 6 bolts out, and behind them there's 2 bearings, and then there's a little should probably change that soon while I'm here. And what looks to be some giant circlips. There's one there, and this big chonga wonga here. They're going to be fun to get out. Right, let's have a crack at those little puppies. They're a bugger, I tell ya. Yeah. And got a new screwdriver technique to get them out. I call it the double twist hook and loop. I got them out. Right, let's whip these other back bolts out and get this thing apart. Okay, well I've got all the bolts out, all the way around the perimeter, and I've taken out the one nut that goes through the side of the bell housing, that one on here, which picks up, I think they call it, I think it's the gear selector jobby, technical name. So hopefully the bell housing should just pop off. Let's have a go. Now we just need to slowly, carefully jimmy it apart without damaging anything. Just to give it another clean in case any lubricant has made its way on there. Make sure that bit under the gearbox where the oil sort of gravity drips down. Really spray a load of brake and clutch in there, just get any residue out. So you got a bit of time while the bell housing's going on and stuff before it weeps again. There we go, that's that all cleaned. Now I've cleaned all my nuts and bolts, they're all prepped. I've cleaned this one, the threads on this, so it goes in nicely, so I'm not wrestling it. So it can slide into that pin nicely. Still feel like it might be a bit of a bugger. But we'll see. Need a little bit of lubricant on these ends of these shafts. I think it's not a good idea. So I'm just putting a bit of teeny bit of lubricant on these shafts because they got to slide into this other case. I figure it can you do any harm until it gets a chance to the gearbox to sort of run up, you know what I mean? Might be a while till it gets to do that, so it's probably a good idea. Just gonna run a little bit. I'll put trial bell housing fit here. Right, so we're all cleaned up, cleaned up, cleaned up, cleaned up, bolts all cleaned up. I've done the elastic pan trick on this pin. So I've been told is the trick. Because when you slide the bell housing on, this bolt goes through the bell housing and has to get in there. And if you don't, like, try and use something to hold it in there, it just falls out. So I've cleaned all the threads up on that as well, best I can, and made sure that that goes in and out nicely. So let's go and do that. So I've cleaned these maintenance surfaces about 400 times. We'll clean them again, just in case. Making sure, especially the bottom of there where it weeps out, as I said earlier on. This has already had like a mooch or scrub, so this is pretty much just a token event. Right. The old silicone out. Now, this bell housing, it came from Lexibreak. Somebody seemed to take it off with a I don't know, an axe and a sledgehammer. They weren't particularly, so they've dented up the surface a bit, so I'm going to have to be a bit healthy on the old silicone. Whoa, not that healthy though. It's a fairly even goopage. So let's bosh it together, shall we? Right, good luck. Right, let's pray for this pin to go in. So far, I might shine a light down there and have a look. As I'm at home and I don't have a light, I'm going to have to use my phone. So, as I also film this all on my phone, I'm going to have to stop you for a minute. Right, well, the pin's in. Happy days. So I've just checked that with the light. So now time to get these circlips back on. Let's have a look at them. So 2 circlips go in here. One on top, one on the bottom. Giving them a nice clean. They're a bit of a bugger to get off actually. But I think they'll be a bit easier to get back on. A matter of just chasing them around, I think. Ah, like a dream. That is a damn sight easier than the one taking them off. They were a bit of a bugger to get off. And then the other one. Oh. It does tend to want to... these bearings will slide backwards and forwards. Makes it a little bit trickier. Well, actually, the little one's trickier than the big one. So I'm going to pull. Ah, there we go. Just had to pull that bearing towards me a bit so the circlip would select around it. It's on. Sweet. Okay, well that's that all bolted up. So I had to transfer a couple of things, the pivot arm for the fork and that little blanky plate. Now it's just time to clean up I've already cleaned them, but just degrease again these two surfaces, seal that and bolt that on. Now, I was going to change this seal in here, but this is a low mileage box, and that seal has absolutely no signs of wear. And it's a factory Toyota seal, and to change it for an aftermarket just for peace of mind, I think I might just leave that one in there, because I think I'll be happier with a genuine Toyota one than a crappy aftermarket one. So, right, let's bolt this up. Okay, got the ring on now, which bolts through. Now this would bolt to the engine first, but I just want to put it on there because it makes it sit nice and flat. And now you can see the forks in there and the throw-out bearing. Now the throw-out bearing just sort of sits on there. There's nothing really to hold it, but I believe once the pressure plate's on there, it'll hold it in place. And there's the clutch fork. I still need to sort out the hydraulic cylinder for it. But there we go. That's that pretty much done. Just time to sort out the shifter relocation. Okay, so here I am with the gearbox all built up with the adapters from Lexibreak. Next up, while I've got the box in this position, I just want to have a look at my shifter relocation kit. Now, this gearbox and engine combo was looking to go on a few different projects, but we settled on the Volvo. And not exactly sure where the engine is going to sit. Now I'm using engine mounts from Luca, which you've seen before. Now they'll determine where the engine sits. There's a little bit of movement in them. So what I'm going to do is I can measure off where that sits in the chassis, in the cross member, and measure from there. I can then work that distance from my engine to this plate, and then from this plate to my shifter, and I can figure it all out as a guesstimate, a guide. So I've got a few options. Stock shifter location, I don't actually have the bracket. It didn't come with the box, which was a bit annoying, but I wasn't that bothered at the time. But I'm pretty sure this stock shifter location is going to be too far back. So a company in America make this very, very nice kit. It's way too nice for me. They are called JSP Fab, is their name. I ordered it online. It's not a cheap piece of kit, but it is a lovely looking thing. This is what you get in the box. Now I've not really had this out before, it's still all shrink wrapped. There's two different versions there for two different types of gearbox. I'm not sure which version I've got. One's for the steel and one's for the aluminium housing. I'll have to figure that out. And then you've got this beautiful thing, which I'll take out the packet. This is a one-piece billet aluminium sort of socket thing. Oh, that's sexy. The work that goes into some of these pieces, absolutely beautiful. JSP, we like you a lot. Yeah, that thing's beautiful. So there's two or three different locations for this. It sits on there using these adapter plates. Now, as I said, I'm not sure which one I need to use. So these are these little adapters that sit in there nicely. So that one's for a steel version. So basically, let's have a look. Next up, we've got these pieces. Now I believe these are the bits which replace the original Wombat. That might need a bit of a persuader off. There looks to be a secure pin that goes through the whole buff, like a pin that goes through that. It's coming. Bada bing. And she's off. Okay, so I'm assuming that goes on there. Oh, and there's another, that pin goes back in. Very nice. Well, we're not going to bother putting that one in right now because this is just a little testaroonie. What are we thinking? One of them? A bit short. What came out? This big boy, let's put them back in. That's that. Now this dingle dangle goes on here, and there's two different locations, so that must be. So let's just assume we're going on the further forward one for now. And let's assume that this was a steel box, although we don't know. So let's put some bolts in. I think these special ones here, with the little weird little countersunk going here, by the looks of it, just because of the shape of them. The machining that's gone into this is crazy. Someone has spent a lot of time making this, and a very nice thing it is too. Now I will probably do some bit of Loctiting on this when I put it back together for my final, but this is just a little mock-up, just because I never really tried it, so I can take some measurements and work out where my socket's going to go. So that's that. Okay. So you've got two positions. I've put this through the furthest two away holes, therefore this is the shortest distance from bell housing to crank. It's got a large cutout on one side and a thin on the other. So I think the large cutout goes that side, let the steel bar. So she goes there. So it can go there, or it can go there. And we're going to have it on the furthest away location. Longest pins go through the thick alley, all the way through the case. Little ones next, they go there. And then there's some mediums that hold these down. So let's zip these all up. Next up, so I didn't have a shifter with this, didn't come with anything. So I tried to find something, and the best I could find was, all I could find shifter wise, apart from there was really nothing second hand, they were really expensive, was this, which is a short shift kit. Now I don't know, I should have probably researched if this is already a short shift kit. If it is, this is going to be way too much. This was a eBay special, all the way from China. Let's have a little look. Quality wise, this piece of billet aluminium's been all machined out of one piece. It's not too bad. I wonder if this ball, it's got these two little sockets, drops down into that one, or whether... Yeah, that's a good question. My ball, I might be able to take this off and drop it down. Or if this goes on top, then this is supposed an extender. Let's have a look. Let's take this out and see if my eBay special selector ball is even the right size. If not, I'm just going to have to go and buy a proper, genuine. They're just a bit hard to find for some reason. Well, it does fit. It's just very snug, which, I'll be honest, isn't a bad thing. How am I going to get that in there? Oh shit, that's tight. So what I'm going to do here is work upside down, because I think it might be easier to get hold of it all. So, there's my ball. And there's my, I'm going to put a little bit of spray lube in there. And we're going to just push that on. Okay. Now we can reassemble it all. That one first. I've never actually shifted this gearbox because it never had a gear stick. So this will be interesting. I really struggled to find some reviews on this shifter online. I was hoping somebody would say it's a piece of Chinese tut or it's good value for money. I will tell you in good time. Okay, so here we have it. This is our JSP shifter relocation, bolted to a Ching Chong Chinese eBay special shifter. Well, that is not a lot of movement there. That is mega short shift. Works though. Don't knock it if it's working. So, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So where's reverse on these? Cool, man. Sweet. Well, if you're still here and been listening to me waffle on about gearboxes, congratulations. This is soon going to be bolted up to the 3UZ. The next episode will be stripping down the 3UZ ready and then the rebuild. And then it'll be going in the Volvo. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, as I say, like, subscribe, and follow along. That's Balance Antics. Take it easy.